Welcome back here on Prime Morning. If you just joined us here on the show, a very good morning to you. And it's midweek. We're excited about the day, and we're hoping that you have a good day too as well. As you begin your day, we wish you the very best. But of course, you can join us here on the show, and if you're leaving the house, you can still be a part of all of our conversations here by just going on social media. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can join us over there. Share your thoughts with us here on the show. Our WhatsApp line is very active as well, so you can also join us over there and share your thoughts. But we say a big thank you to Nutri-Snacks for making it possible always for us to talk here on this very show. Please go out there and get yours. Go to any supermarket, and say you want Nutri-Snacks, and you will get it. It's very, very nutritious, and it's delicious as well. So do not begin your day without it. Trust me, you will love it. And the Big Chef is happening. So once again, we're coming into your homes and we're bringing you recipes from young talents, people who are skilled in the kitchen. You know what I mean? So if you've got any child that is between the ages of 8 and 14, all you have to do is to record 2 minutes video of the person doing something in the kitchen. It could be anything. I mean, send it to us on our WhatsApp line, and we're going to get into it. We'll screen it, and then we'll get to have the final showdowns, right? So do well to send it. That the deadline for the submission is on the 9th of November, all right? So you might want to go ahead and record your video and send to us. We'll be closing the entries very soon. All right, that's what it is. Step Up is also happening on Sundays. We get to bring some happiness in your homes, and you get to also win money as well. All you need to do is to make sure you're watching, and those on the show are having a good time. And so make sure you also watch at 7:30 on Joy Prime. Mercury Quay and George Quay will be there to entertain you, and so please do well. Some are also having broken hearts on that show as well. They are not able to win the money, and they are so broken, and it's not even funny. So yeah, just go out there and enjoy the very best of all that you need to know on Step Up. All right. So we're going to be getting into our conversation, but before we do that, we'll check out the front page of the newspapers and what it's reporting today, and then we'll have the major conversation. Earlier, we shared with you some of the things that we'll be looking at. I'll be introducing to you my guest in the studio in a bit, but before that, let me quickly run through the front pages of the newspapers we have today. And Ghanaian Times is here this morning, and on the front page it says Wija Dam under siege. Minister warns encroachers to stay away. Page 12 has got a story on that. And Korea Exim Bank funded projects resume after November. And Get Fund completes 2,731 projects 2019-2023. And security personnel deployed to Tofloko residents literature react to incident. And that's the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Today, on the front page of the Daily Guide, it says VIP receives rousing Jubilee House welcome, and 900 votes rejected in NPP primaries. Now, the big story over here, Mahama Jabson over Baumia, and 1,105 workers benefit from rent assistance scheme. And 2 other SHS students drowned in Volta River. That's also captured by the Daily Guide this morning. Such a sad story over there. We hope that these things do not repeat themselves again, whatever it is. We hope that is well taken care of, so we don't have some of these things happening again. And Daily Analyst this morning says Ghana to get $150 million World Bank support. An alleged clash at Sege Literature denies shooting residents, expresses readiness to cooperate with police. And ORC to operate VVIP Prestige Center by end of November. Kolebu Renal Unit, we spoke about this yesterday. Now, government must find money to tackle dialysis crisis, Derek Odro asserts. And Ghana's public debt, every citizen owes 19,000 Ghana cedis, says Mahama. That's Daily Analyst this morning. Now, let's look at the publisher and what it's also reporting on the front page. So the publisher says that Electrochem denies involvement in tragic death of Ada resident, and Baumia will bring transformative change, Abu Janapo declares. Government identifies new funding to La General Hospital, and it's one of our conversations we're having this morning here on the show. And media support key for democracy, Opong Nkrumah also speaks on that. So that will be the Ghanaian publisher this morning. Of course, a wrap for the front page of the various newspapers we have here on Newsflash this morning. Now we're getting to the major conversations, and let me introduce my guest in the studio. So Adele Umar is the National Communications Team member for the NDC, and he joined us here on the show. He's a family, and it's good to see him. Adele, you good?
I'm good, KMJ.
Good to have you on the show, and thanks for the time.
Thank you very much. Today I came in style.
Yeah, and it looks good.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Get show. Clean,
some clean
get up and show clean. What's is the get up or is the show or is the clean, or which one comes first?
Get clean.
Get clean.
Yeah, get clean.
Oh, I thought.
Remember when the president indicated that he wanted to make Accra the cleanest city in West Africa? We figured we should do something to help. So on the 16th of November, we're meeting at the former president's office.
Okay.
We're cleaning the entire neighborhood, like the gutters, all the way to the former president's office, going towards the back, everywhere. We heard there's some,
Just that place?
Just that entire area, gutters, so we're getting ready to just clear the place up a little bit.
Okay, it looks good. Sounds good.
Would love for Paul Graves to join us. It's a Ghanaian thing.
You wouldn't mind. If it's national thing, why?
It's a national thing. We're cleaning up. Clean up exercise.
Paul Graves Wachidakwa is government spokesperson on governance and security, NPP, and he's also joined us this morning here. He's also a family here with us on the show. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, KMJ. Very good morning to you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. And once again, our condolences.
Thank you.
And we're hoping that the good Lord receives our
Thank you. Thank you for your overwhelming support. I think that I received high-level support from your media house, in addition to a lot of media houses. And so a lot of maximum respect and salute to all of you.
Awesome. We're always going to be there. I mean, it's a family thing, and we're excited about it. We're always going to be there. All right, so we're going to get into the conversation. So for those of you out there, as it is right now, we all know that the NPP have made a decision, and the decision for a flag bearer is Dr. Bawumia. It means that Dr. Bawumia will be coming against Mahama, former President John Dramani Mahama, in 2024 when we go to the polls. And it also means that these two men that will be leading the two parties would have to find someone that will be their vice president. Now, the NPP, as it is right now, there has been reports of some jostling in quote unquote, in the camp of the NPP as to who becomes the vice president and that will support Dr. Bawumia. Now, a couple of names have come up, including Mr. Edichim. Earlier, Rosemary was mentioning Adrasafo and all of that. There have been so many names. Napo has also, been put up and all of that. But we don't know exactly what the conversation looks like. But I'm sure Sami Okuto has also been put up as well. Now, in the coming days and weeks, I'm sure we're going to get to that. But we want to take a look at it, what it means to have someone to be the vice president moving forward. Now, pollster Ben Efson has also added his voice to it, and he says that the NPP will be good enough if they have someone from the Ashanti region as the vice president. Now, don't forget that it's the first time that we have a northern person leading the NPP. It's something that they are very excited about, and they hope that it brings them the fortunes that they need for the party. We're going to be delving into that conversation here on the show. Let me begin with Paragraph. How is the camp like? Some names have come up. Ben Efson believes that the Ashanti region will be a best representation as far as the vice president is concerned.
KMJ, let me greet you and greet my good people from Achimebwaka North constituency, where I would be seeking to be part of the primaries in February 2024 and to have an opportunity to represent them in the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. KMJ, we would want to
so that's an incoming right there, not to catch you, but that's an incoming right there. So you guys have to be, do the right thing. Vote for him. Yeah.
We would want to congratulate Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for a resounding victory in the primaries of the New Patriotic Party, 14 regions. Not an easy task. And also congratulate the Honorable Kennedy Japan, an exceedingly consummate politician in the New Patriotic Party, for contesting. Impressive statistics and impressive percentage for him. I'd like to also congratulate Dr. Koto as well, and finally congratulate the man I've described as a perfect gentleman, the Honorable Engineer Dynamo. You would realize that on Saturday, the New Patriotic Party made a very significant and loud history and also forged ahead very stronger in a united front, that the 2024 general election is going to be an election where everyone and everyone within the New Patriotic Party is beginning a journey of possibilities, because our flag bearer, who is the sitting vice president of the Republic of Ghana, is welcoming every single person in this country to a journey of possibilities. He's creating enough space in the New Patriotic Party for technocrats, creating enough space in the New Patriotic Party for the new Gen Z, creating enough space for young people, creating enough space for industry workers, creating enough space for businessmen, creating enough space for farmers, for fishermen, for market women, and ensuring that we, in our diversity, we are able to govern very strongly. I think it's early days for us as a New Patriotic Party in terms of considering who would become a running mate to the flag bearer. Our eyes are very focused on our orphan constituencies, where we need to select members of parliament to represent the NPP in the primaries and the main election in December 2024, and then also with our constituencies where we have certain MPs also, we have an election to run. I think that our party had earlier on brought up a timetable, and our eyes are fixed and engaged on that. Whilst people bring up names, the Vice President has returned back to his office to continue his government responsibilities in assisting President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo in alleviating the plight and issues of the Ghanaian people. But we are not blinded to the names and suggestions that has come, but need to say that we are not in a hurry at all. As a patriotic party, we are also very fixed on ensuring that the timetable that has been set in place for our preparation for our primaries in terms of parliamentary is what is ahead of us now as a political party.
Is the issue of, and then again, is the issue of who and where the person comes from a problem in the party? Is this something that it's worth taking?
Well, I think that diversity has become a key ingredient in political discourse. And so if you have someone from the north, I mean, equity would mean that you would want to have someone from the south. And so it means that the vice president cannot pick up any other person as a running mate from the north. And so it leaves the rest of the southern regions a great opportunity. And but I've said that regardless of the pressures that are being mounted and even the names that are coming up, as a patriotic party, we already have a timetable and a calendar that has been in place, and we are following through at this stage that we are done with our flag bearership, and we have a clear leader who is setting a clear path of possibilities for the party. We are very certain that our primaries need to go through in terms of parliamentary. That's a major focus now, and also to prepare ourselves once our parliamentary is done, prepare ourselves to make sure that we have a good running mate who will be able to meet the NDC's John Dramani Mahama with their running mate. I don't know if the NDC has selected their running mate.
Not yet.
But I mean, they finished up their elections many months ago, and so it's in no rush. But also to state that we are poised for our parliamentary elections because they've already done their parliamentary. We have a lot more work to do within our patriotic party to ensure that we are really ready for the 2024 general election, and we would make the right decisions. Okay.
Finally, what do you make of Ben Efson's, I don't know if he thinks it's a prediction or whatever it is, but I want to know what you make of that. He thinks that from the Ashanti region will be a best bet for you.
Well, what I would say really is that the NPP is the best bet to win the 2024 general election for the Ghanaian people for a number of reasons. And I think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in his speech stated that for us as a patriotic party, the rationale behind our desire to break the eight has moved beyond partisanship, but it's become more of a patriotic responsibility. because, and I read from page 16, it says that breaking the 8 is not about partisanship, but about patriotism, and knowing that Ghana deserves consistency, focus, and follow through, not political bickering or division. And he says that we would break the 8 in unity, we would govern in unity, because regardless of the margin of our victory, and so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, our flag bearer, has declared that we're going to win the 2024 general election, but with a very slim margin. So we don't doubt that it's going to be a very keenly contested general election for us. But he says that regardless of the margin of our victory, we govern for and in the interest of the 100% of Ghanaians. And so for us, whether we choose someone from Ashanti, or we choose someone from Volta region, or we choose someone from Central region, or we choose someone from Eastern region, or we choose someone from Western region, I mean, regardless of wherever we will choose anybody, I mean, the real goal is that we want to govern in unity. The real goal is that we would want to remind the Ghanaian people that it's about consistency, it's about focus, it's about follow through, it's not about political bickering and divisions, but really to see that Ghana is on that trajectory of immense growth and opportunities. And we believe that governments have had opportunities to lead and govern in this Fourth Republic, from Jerry John Rawlings to John Ajakum Kufuor to Evans Atta Mills to John Dramani Mahama to now Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And we believe that the path that has been created, especially with the foundations and the pillars that has been raised by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the certain president of the Republic of Ghana, the Ghanaian people would be very honored and pleased, and we would also be very honored and pleased that we, as a political party, have an opportunity to continue in governance. I mean, because it brings a lot more follow through, it brings a lot more consistency, it brings a lot more focus, and that is what the Ghanaian people deserve.
Great. Adele.
KMG. Even if the cock does not crow,
the sun will rise.
The sun will rise. Ultimately, you know, even if they brought together Alan, put all the deputies, put everybody together, and let's amend the constitution and give them 10 vice presidents with GM and 1 vice president, they are going home. And I'll tell you why.
You seem very confident about that.
Oh yeah, they're going home. You see, look at it from this angle, KMJ. When you have a great leader and a vice president or a deputy who is weak, there are chances that there will be success. When you have a weak leader and you have a great deputy, chances are that you would fail. You know why? Pride. You know, for people who think we know, I know, it is difficult for them to even admit and accept for contributions from those that are beneath them. The way that I've seen the vice president and the way that he's spoken, you know, before 2012, all the way to 2016, you know, the way he's spoken and the way he's performed abysmally. It doesn't matter who they bring as a vice president. It won't matter who they bring as a vice president. Because you know why? The person that is leading the charge, the person that has the strength, the person that has the power to make those things happen does not have what it takes to make it happen. And whoever is supporting him would all have to follow and follow.
Why do you think he doesn't have what it takes to make whatever he wants to happen?
When you go to campus to study law, and then at a point in time your GPA starts dropping, and then you decide to join the economics class every now and then. When the time is due for you to write exam, it won't matter where you wrote the exam. Bottom line is that you went to that school to study law. The vice president consistently, including the president, are running away from his job. You were placed there in charge of the economy. This is what was given to you. That is the certificate we want you to elaborate. You know, it's like a father who is in the house, okay? And then everybody knows that you're supposed to pay electricity, you're supposed to pay water bill, you're supposed to pay school fees, you're supposed to take care of your wife and all that. You leave all of that. And then you go and you're washing dishes in the kitchen. and then you go to the washroom and you're washing the bathroom. You know, like you can do that, it's fine. But when you relinquish all of this, and then you're doing all of that, and then every now and then you pick up your wife's clothes and then you wash them, and then when people talk, so, you know, I've been cleaning the house, but you're not paying school fees. The ultimate responsibility given to the vice president was to manage the economy. He has failed abysmally.
But I think he had explained that in a couple of, you know, interviews. Even the panel explained that. The fact that where he sits, he doesn't have the ultimate decision-making power. So this is the time that when he's given that mandate, he'll be able to say, okay, I am my own man and I'm making this decision for myself. So it doesn't mean he's not contributed anything or he doesn't have what it takes to make what you think that he's not making happen.
Okay, all right, sure. 2009 to 2012, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was the Vice President of the Republic. For the first time in the history, we had inflation at a single digit for 33 good months. 33.
Someone could also attribute that to the certain president and not him as a vice president.
He is the man in charge of the economy. I'll tell you something. In 2015, when we had issues with Doomsor and all of that, did you know that the president at the time, John Dramani Mahama, set up what you call PAGE with himself? It was pretty much like an assistant team that they put together. That team came together with the likes of Mr. White, what do you call it, Finance Minister Setekbe, and the likes, you know, all together. And the president, John Dramani Mahama, was the one that led that team in 2015 to our recovery. In 2015. Between 2009 to 2012, he was the vice president. We all saw what happened in this country. We saw what the prices of goods were. We saw what the dollar was. We saw it. That is his responsibility. He chairs it. Look, take Bawumia as vice president, 7 years. Compare with John Dramani Mahama's vice president, 3.5 years. He still doesn't come close. Nowhere close. Don't talk about presidency. Leave presidency. Because Bawumia hasn't been president before. So leave it. We can't do that comparison. Take Vice President John Dramani Mahama, 2009 to 2012, middle 2012, before he was sworn in as president. Take that 3.5 years. Take Bawumia 7 years. Compare, you still not get him anywhere close. He can't. So I'm saying that, look, if they want, they should go to the moon, and go and bring people from the moon. They are going home. Look,
okay.
Basic statistics. Look, we had a total debt of 120 billion. We were drilling from one oil field. I just want to give you how much money has come to us. We were drilling from one oil field. We had 248 billion, which is the revenue that came to us. With these amounts of money, we left you GDP at 56%. We left you inflation at 15.4, exchange rate 4.2. Debt, we never defaulted on any of our debts. Credit rating, we had B- as at 2016. If you come to interest rate, it was 25%. Central bank financing, as of 2016, we did zero financing from central bank. Growth rate, 3.6. Budget deficit, 6.1. Domestic, how do you call it? Unemployment was at 8.4. You have had 600 billion in terms of debt. Almost 4 times. You've had 3 oil fields added to it. You have had 830 billion revenue added to it, yet you're doing 104% in terms of debt to GDP. Your inflation is at 54% at the point in time, as at 2022. You have what exchange rate? Your exchange rate is at 12 cities.
And this is a research document from where?
What?
From the camp of the NDC.
It's very viable.
From the camp of the NDC.
Kenji, I'm coming. Kenji.
I know.
From the camp of the NDC.
I've seen it.
From the camp of the NDC.
I've made a few contacts. I've seen it. As of yesterday, I started this document. I made a few contacts.
From the camp of the NDC.
And the research, where the research is coming from, is a bit unfounded. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. That if you have an idea, then
a bit unfounded,
because I made a few contacts and my contact don't seem to know.
No, wait. No, I'm coming.
Where the research is coming. No, I just want you to just enlighten me a bit.
Don't worry. I will. I'm saying that. Who doesn't know? In fact, as we speak right now, as at 2020, as at 2022, our debt was at 600 billion. Why? If you check from the Minister of Finance's document when you present to the Parliament, this money is there. 600 billion. Who doesn't know? Today we are 600 plus. Who doesn't know?
I think you've exhausted.
CD, no, I'm coming. I'm coming. CD to dollar. Who doesn't know how much it is?
I'll come to you right now.
CD to dollar. Who doesn't know what it is?
I want to prove this. So
no, of course.
Once he's doing that, let's
inflation as at 2022 was 54%. Check it. Open your phone. Google it. KMJ, look, issues that has to do with interest rate as we speak, as of 2024, it was 40%. Who doesn't know that? Everybody knows this. The issue of growth as of 2022, that was recorded 3.1. Who doesn't know that? Your budget deficit as of 2022, you did 12%. Who doesn't know this? He has a phone. You should Google it. The documents are there. Everything is online.
Let me get to paragraph, and then we'll move on to the budget for 2024.
You know, when my brother Adele...
it's my paper. No, it's my paper. It's my paper.
Let me help you. Let me help you with the level of misinformation he's put out. You know, he said that the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, has not been president before, which is true. And he said that we shouldn't compare John Dramani Mahama as president to Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as vice president. Yeah. And that we should compare, that's Adele, that we should compare Vice President John Dramani Mahama and Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The document he has brought here is a comparison of John Dramani Mahama as former president to Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as sitting Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. So let's begin.
Okay.
Now,
let's go.
The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, picked up an ailing economy. In 2017, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, together with our government, recorded a single-digit inflation 2017, 2018, 2019. The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, who chairs the economic management team, ensured that we had a single-digit inflation all throughout, ensured that we finished the IMF program and we placed this country on a strong economic recovery. The sitting Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, and even the President of the Republic of Ghana, you recall how well this country was growing economically, how Ghana was the fastest growing economy in the world. It happened. Then the entire globe had a global pandemic called COVID-19. It cannot be discounted. It cannot be discounted. At the time when John Dramani Mahama was in office, with all the things that Adele mentions, there was not a single global pandemic that had happened over a period of 100 years. We met that. We dealt with COVID-19 as many economies did. The United States of America, that had not any challenge at all with inflation, today is struggling with single-digit inflation because of COVID-19. We cannot, and anyone who wants to discount the impact of COVID-19 wants to live in oblivion, as though it never happened. It destroyed economies, made economies realize how fragile they are. It brought about economies becoming novel and innovative. And when Ghana was getting out and the entire globe were getting out of COVID-19, you recall, Ghanaian workers stayed home. The impact of that on the domestic revenue mobilization was huge. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, paid for students and teachers who stayed home. Nobody was impacted financially. In this country, lights were on, water was given, food was given in this country. So really, when we were getting out of the woes of COVID-19 today, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is almost going into a second year, preparing for a third year. So the times we live in are extremely different, extremely different. And I would compare John Dramani Mahama as Vice President with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. And I would say, to be fair, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, our flag bearer, has done exceedingly well. Pick all vice presidents from the First Republic, from Kinsenaka, who threatened to resign. Pick the other vice president, John Ivan Satamils, who was vice president under Jerry John Rawlings. pick Emis Arthur, then pick John Dramani Mahama himself, and compare the track records. I have stated that the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and the sitting Vice President of the Republic of Ghana has reactivated things that did not exist in the role as vice presidential role, and is playing that actively. His policy contributions extensively to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo cannot be underestimated, and the Ghanaian people know that. The New Patriotic Party people know that. The NDC is aware. They are aware that there is no way you can compare the effectiveness, the efficacy, the discipline, the result-oriented, the visionary leadership of the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party to their flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. So we need to do the comparisons very well. And really, the Vice President has not stated that he's not aware of the challenges that the Ghanaian people are saying. He has actually even stated that whilst he was on the campaign trail, he became aware of certain events that were happening in the country. And he said that he's returning back to continue the work that has been given to him by the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to solve the needs and the issues of the Ghanaian people.
Will the Vice President be going back to these places once he's in power as the President? The places he saw, all the things that he's talking
absolutely.
about. Is it a possibility? Because
absolutely.
Usually these are campaign messages. Once it's done, it's done. I'm not sure the Vice President will even
the Vice President has stated very well that in this country, every single person who has a job would have a job that pays well. I have not heard, and I mean, we are yet to put together a manifesto, but they have had their flag bearer for the longest. I have not heard that they've even prepared their manifesto. Meanwhile, it's just almost a few months away. So we as a patriotic party, the New Patriotic Party, we are very prepared and very poised to really ensure that these levels of comparisons does not hold water. Because if you really want to compare, the Ghanaian people know. I stated to some people this week that the Vice President, when as his Vice President now, innovatively would get up from his office and visit state institutions. Tell me, point any single Vice President in this country that ever did that. Tell me which Vice President implemented, and I've stated, the policy implementation of paperless port, the policy implementation of the impact of digitalization cannot be underestimated at all. He's picked it up, he's engineered it, he's visioned it, and now it's become an admirable thing. Today,
the NDC thing, it doesn't change anything.
Really?
Because economically, they don't know how that impacts the lives of the people.
Then the NDC does not understand what economics is. Real economics is making sure that you put together the infrastructure that would be able to wipe away the loopholes that are there over the years. Today, ECG is making more money because we've digitalized ECG. Today, the port is making more money because we've digitalized the port. It's a thing of the past where you will need to be giving physical cash, where sometimes you cannot even trail the processes. I tell you, when we talk about systems that must work, today, the systems in this country are beginning to work under the leadership of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. Today, the Ghanaian people are aware that when we talk about the young people, we talk about you don't need a watch seller now to tell you where the house is or where a particular office is. The digital address system works very well. And so really, I think that the NDC should not bring that on, because they would fail on a major comparison. They will fail on a major intellectual academic comparison from a technocrat, none other than the former deputy governor and sitting vice president, the laurels, the wealth of work, wealth of experience. I'm so surprised that anybody would want to do that on a Wednesday morning, on a midweek like this. The Ghanaian people need to be reminded of the hope of the future and not reminded of a doom. So I was so surprised when PLO Lumumba came to Ghana and started saying that Dumso is everywhere. So really, I think that we should forge ahead. There is no need to go for a Sankofa. Why do you go for a Sankofa when you can go for Yankofa?
All right.
Look,
can we now tie in the 2024 budget?
Sure. Why not? We'll move. See, there's a reason why I made reference to 2016. I indicated to you that in 2015, when we entered Dumso, things started getting very, very bad. We're not getting revenues the way we're supposed to get it. The president, John Dramani Mahama, set up what you call the Presidential Advisory Group on Economy. Today, they have done something similar. You know, there's a group of people who have been put together to support the vice president, of which I know they are running, on the side. JM set it up in 2015, headed by himself. By himself. There were people like Pesa White, Kwesi Boche, Julius Setekpe, Mr. Atta himself, who was part of it, Cardinal Mills. These were the people that were set up to be the advisory board to support the issues on economy. And it is the reason for why you saw what you saw in 2016.
The people felt the impact of
the impact was felt. Well, before we left power, tell me, your minister sat on TV and indicated that honestly, when you guys came to power, you haven't added 1 megawatt of power. Tell me what you did in 2017 to get the growth of 7.3. You read your budget in May. Governance started somewhere around September. By the time you came to government in 2017, the good work has already been done. Look, in any case, let me tell you something. It is the foundation of the NDC in 2016 that allowed you to be able to make close to about 600 billion, because it was our balance sheet that you used to borrow. Our balance sheet that you used to borrow. It is our balance sheet that earned you 3 oil fields, for which you're making almost 200,000 barrels of oil. It is our balance sheet that has given you 830 billion in terms of revenue. When you had the opportunity to work on your own balance sheet, when you handed over to yourself from 2020 up until today, we've seen what has happened. Everybody knows what is happening in the country. You cannot tell, it is only in the eyes of the NPP who would say that dollar at 4.2 or dollar at 12 cedis is better than dollar at 12.2, at 4.2.
The argument that a lot of things have changed globally.
Why? In 2014, 2013, when the West African pipeline got broken, JM went into the sea and went to break the pipeline. We were not getting crude. Dumso went out of the ordinary. We decided to come up with the issues of Ameri. We gave you Atuabo gas pipeline. Today, even though we owe in excess of 2 billion, Atuabo is ours. Atuabo pipeline alone was an investment of $1 billion by the NDC. Give me one project you have invested this much into.
All right, let's try and tie in the 2024 budget. So the finance minister, Kenneth Oriata, will present the government's 2024 annual budget on statement and economic policy for Parliament on November 15. But let's get a few comments and then we'll try and see that. Now, there have been concerns about freezing new tax. There's also the concern of reintroducing road tolls and all of that. We'll check all of these things. Now, this one says, greetings to all. Never again, Ghanaians can't afford another regime of economic hardship, arrogance of power, mismanagement, corruption, massive unemployment, brutalities, hyperinflation, and misrule of the party that promised paradise but plunged the nation into bankruptcy and hopelessness. Powley sent in that one. This one says, so members of the NPP still think Bawumia can be president of Ghana after pretending over a failed economy. What beats my imagination is that most of the promises Bawumia made in 2016 has not come into fruition, and yet he kept making more vain promises. We're a serious country and would not allow slogans and empty promises to carry us away this time. Putting all political lenses aside, I know Palgrave in your studios know that Dr. Bawumia has no credibility to lead this country as president. Daniel Kaliok from Sandema sent in that one. Another one here says, if Ghanaians want accountability, they should vote massively for Mahama to show President Akufo-Addo and his appointees something. Bloody Fiukuma Zongo Takwa sent in that one. Another one over here says, do we have another one? Okay, so this one says, good morning to you. We all want to see this current political administration exhibiting good governance better than first term in office, but with the look of things, the entire economic picture is not quite clear, with the exception of free SHS, which we can clearly see the direction that this policy is taking and its impact. What about the 1D, 1F? What is happening to this policy? The 1D, 1F is achievable. This policy can only be realistic if the government adheres to the following points below. Cutting down government expenditure and channel this money into this policy. Government should reduce the ministerial board to small size to be able to get enough money to execute 1D, 1F in all the district assemblies. Love, respect, and that's Aaron Baba Kokomisa sending in that one from Latibia Kosha. Another one over here says, ask the man if his child is in free SHS. The NPPs are spoiling the country. How can someone whose advice to become a president, if he knew something, why didn't he use to help the president build the country? That's the question they asking this morning. And Akisme Ebenezer Seshibekwai sent in this one. It says, I'm appealing to all Ghanaians to vote overwhelmingly to send Dr. Bawumia and NPP not only to opposition but into extinction. I don't want to see any names like NPP, Akufo-Addo, Oforiatta, Amwakwata, Bedietu, etc. Even President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia are now scared of using the word incompetent because they know it applies to them more than anyone else. Regards to the Queen Mother of Seshibekwai, Nana Abina Enwa II. Sent in that one. Another one over here says, Assalamu alaikum to you all. Even a child in his mother's womb knows that the NPP has failed to the people of Ghanaians. The good people of the country have decided already to kick the NPP government from the office coming 2024, inshallah. Chance constituency for Honorable Samuel Usubrako, NDCPC and JDM. Mohammed Zeno Abidin Zongo Kokos Achasa constituency sent in that one. NPP is to continue the development agenda to transform Ghana. I'm Noah from Western Region, all right. And we have another one over here. And Raji Hamza from Pig Farm sent in a very long one. It says, good morning, my brother. I don't think Ghanaians are ready to hand over this country to a person who cannot be trusted. Dr. Bawumia is facing credibility crisis, and such a person is fit to handle the affairs of this country. It's not fit, you mean? My brother, did I hear you say Dr. Bawumia said he was only brought in to assist? My brother, so in what capacity did Bawumia prepare those 170 questions for the late Mr. Arthur to answer? This is hypocrisy and double standards to the highest level. I wonder why journalists in this country are not pushing the question to Dr. Bawumia, but rather telling Ghanaians that he was brought in to assist. My brother, I need answers from the NPP man before he leaves the studio in connection with the questions that Dr. Bawumia prepared for the late Mr. Arthur to answer. Was Mr. the president of this country? He was brought in to also assist. Okay. All right. Very much so. That will be the comments for now. You can also send in yours, and you can send it to our WhatsApp line. And we're streaming live on Facebook as well. So you can also send your messages over there. It's Joy Prime TV on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. And this morning we've taken a look at the NPP and the presidential and the vice president race for that matter. Now we know that they have a candidate that will be facing the former president, John Dramani Mahama. But the issue of the vice is what the two parties are all looking at, by the way. Now, let's look at the 2024 budget. So, on November 15th, the finance minister, will be going to the House of Parliament to present the annual budget, and we're looking at it. Now, a few indications have come up. There have been instances where people think that we need to freeze some of the new tax that will likely feature in that. Now, the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISA, is actually calling for a freeze on new tax exemptions for foreign companies, and he thinks that if that is done, we'll be able to make some more revenue that we're doing, and actually says that Ghana is losing over 25 billion Ghana cedis annually because of these tax exemptions. He's also mentioned the issue of the electronic transfer levy, which they wanted to move from 1.5% to 1%. When the budget is read, and also the issue of road tolls. They think that we're supposed to reintroduce them back. There have been concerns about the reintroduction of the road tolls, especially when people think that a lot of thinking went into that decision, and bringing it back would not really go well for the party. But let me start with you again, Padre.
KMJ, ISA is a very reputable organization at the University of Ghana. they've made their suggestions. I mean, obviously, when government is preparing budgets, government has stakeholder meetings with the various sectors, and I'm certain that we would follow through as these suggestions are coming and make the best decision in the interest of the Ghanaian people. We have to remember that this is the president's final budget.
Yeah.
And
it's supposed to look good, and extremely good.
and also remember that we are running an IMF program.
Yeah.
It's also instructive to state that in one of the media reviews, the finance minister stated that road tolls, I mean, all new roads that are being constructed will be tolled, if you recall that. Yeah. So I'm aware that all new roads that are being constructed, because there's a lot of construction of roads that is ongoing now in this country. And so I think that ISA shouldn't worry much about road tolls, because all new roads that are being constructed will be taxed. On e-levy, I think that before the budget is ready, we'll bring out the data of how well e-levy has performed over the period under review. And also on taxes. Well, definitely, like I stated, we're running an IMF program. This is the president's final budget as well. I'm certain that whatever we put in the budget would be reflective of what the Ghanaian people want, to ease their burden, to ensure that inflation goes down, to ensure that people that are taking loans, their interest rates are at a good place so that they can be able to borrow some more. It's important to also state that the finance minister during the spillage of the Akosombo Dam promised that the issues that have happened within North Town, South Town, Ketu South, those environments will be featured heavily in the budget. And so I'm aware that that is also going to come into the budget. So really, ISA has no problem. We are having stakeholder meetings with a number of key sectors to ensure that the budget is reflective of the future that the Ghanaian people so desire in 2024.
Great.
Efficiency. The word is efficiency. The ability to be able to use less to do more. This is what you need. The ability, look, in fact, when you're discussing efficiency in economics, is your ability to be able to put in resources in the various places that you have to put it in with less waste and make optimal use of whatever resources you have.
The NPP hasn't done that.
Totally. Look, I cited an example for you. Aside they being corrupt, and I'll come to it. And you know, today I'll talk about something the vice president did, okay, which shocks me. Like it's been shocking for a while now, and I've never had the opportunity to talk about it. I'll talk about it today. You sit down and tell us, for example, that 120 billion debt is ridiculous, doesn't make sense. Any idiot can go out there and borrow and do things. 120 billion. Then you come and borrow 600 billion. It is okay. Like everybody watching me right now, it is okay. 1 cedi is no good. 10 cedis is fine. Like, I'm trying to find out what kind of calculators they use. You tell us that the revenues we have received, you have not seen what we've done with it, even though it is visual and tenable. Look, I can close my eyes and just mention them off my head, even though they were visible. In fact, at a point in time in 2016, they told us that they will not eat roads. But they forgot. KMJ, they forgot. They forgot that, look, in order for any country to survive, you can't do it without infrastructure. This is what we did. Everything requires it. From school, education, health, any sector requires energy, requires infrastructure. You know why I'm moving you into efficiency when it comes to the budget? KMJ, it would not matter how much money is given to this government, they can't make use of it. It's basic. Because for someone who has been given 3 oil fields, we had 1, we gave you 2 more before we left. We left you a debt to GDP of 54. You came in and borrowed close about 600 billion plus. You have received revenues to a tune of almost 830 billion. When you put all of this together and you look at the situation we find ourselves in, there is no amount of money you would give them that would change lives. Do you know why? Because the wastage is too much, the stealing, the corruption is too much. Take a little. That is what everybody do. When families are trying to rise up, that's what you do. When you have a family, you take a little. You look at what you have. You expend it in places that can turn itself and bring it back. That was why when we were doing investments, we were putting it in places like Terminal 3. Because when you take the money and you put it in Terminal 3 and it's being used and the airlines are paying for its usage, you end up paying your debt. You end up paying your debt. Look, one of the things that amazes me about these people is the fact that they take decisions before they think about it. And I'll give you an example. We were in this country, they said, oh, e-levy. E-levy, 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 let's go get it, e-levy. They told us e-levy will solve all of this country's problem. In fact, every ministry was making mention of it. Agric said, oh, with e-levy, we'll get monies for cocoa. Road said, with e-levy, we are going to start building new roads. Okay, no problem. Granted, let's say it's what it is. Do you go cancelling toll when you haven't received e-levy? Who does that? Like, who? Okay, so you have something, you have a tap in the house. It flows a little bit. It just flows a little bit, okay? You're expecting someone is bringing you a tanker. The tanker hasn't arrived. You take a mattock or you take a hammer and then you break this one, there's water coming. Look, give them 4 times more what they have today. They would not make use of it. Do you know why? Because they don't have what it takes to make good use of it.
Do you think the budgets for 2024 will be nothing to write?
I am saying that if you want, let them reorganize, increase everything in this state. Do what, let them get 10 extra billion for the next 1 year. Your life would not change. Because we've seen it, 7 years. We've seen what they had. KMJ, 120 billion debt. Look around. Hey, imagine what we'll be doing today in senior high schools if the NDC didn't start the e-blocks. Imagine, just sit down and think about it. Imagine what we'll be going through today if the NDC didn't invest in what you call the Ameri. Imagine what the hospitals will be going through today. Imagine if we didn't give you a Tuabo gas pipeline so you can get gas to power your plants. Imagine, just think about it. What are you guys doing? And then the worst part of it is the corruption. So listen, give them, add them. Why? We've been giving them. Are we not buying dollar at 11 cities now? Are we not buying sugar and milk at God knows how much? We are still giving them money. We're still paying taxes. They're still taking it. What have they done with it? You give to someone. Look, in Islam, there's a verse in the Quran which touches me. It says, look, amongst your sons, if you have sons in the house, amongst your sons, the Quran says, don't give your wealth to the weak-minded person amongst your children. Look at them. If they are 5, 6, 10, look at them manage. Okay, which one amongst them is it that if I give the money to, they would be able to turn it around? Give it to him. Don't give it to the weak-minded person, because the weak-minded person, you can hustle all the money, give it to him, and he cannot even turn it around to make benefit of it for himself. And then the rest of the kids will suffer. They are weak-minded. And I'll tell you, when it comes to corruption, the vice president did something that has, like, it has gotten...
What you wanted to mention there?
Yes, listen. Rice. It's been 3 years now. Before the elections. Someone brought his rice. Listen to these people. No matter how much you give them, they are greedy, they are selfish, they are criminals, they are corrupt. Listen. Okay, criminal out, please. Corrupt. Someone brings his rice to the port. KMJ, listen, brings his rice to the port. He's supposed to go and find money and come and clear the goods. You know what is called demurrage? When your goods stays for over a time, the government seizes the product, and then the government auctions it. They give you the first option for buy. If you can buy it, they give you the first option. If you can't buy it, the government sells it, and then now they can take the money, take out their revenue. 2 days before the time for the demurrage to catch, this gentleman goes to look for money. He comes to the port to come and collect his goods. The goods have already been auctioned. Hey, auctioned to who? auctioned to a gentleman, the administrator in the vice president's office. So he went to the investigations and then found out that it was going to the vice president's office. The vice president's office now comes to admit and says, yes, the rice was given, but the vice president doesn't know anything about it. Listen to this, listen to this. He doesn't know anything about it. We have gone to do Ramadan. We finished fasting. People have gone to pray. We've prayed. We're asking for forgiveness, including the vice president, who says he's a Muslim. The vice president's office carries this man's rice, which they stole, and came to share it in Muslim communities and telling the Muslims that the vice president said we should come and give you rice. So the Christian who is in vice president.
Could it also be that somebody was doing so in his office, but not the vice president?
Okay, so the Christian, so the Christian that the product was sold to, the administrator. I'll get his name for you. The administrator that was.
Because
I'll get it for you. See. I'll get it for you. Let me finish talking.
When did this happen? When did this happen?
You're putting out the context of an issue that is not accurate of the vice president.
No problem.
There is a report.
Are you aware of this?
I'm aware of the misinformation is putting out.
Okay, so you put the information out.
Yes, I'm aware of the misinformation.
Let me get you. I'm coming. Let me get you the misinformation. I want to get you the guys. I want to get.
I don't know why Adele. I don't know why Adele is doing this.
The name of the press.
I wrote it down yesterday. I'm trying to get it for you. But if I can finish my presentation when he comes, let me land. So you take the rice, and then you share it to the people, and you say, "This rice is from the vice president. Take it, Muslims." You go and take someone's thing. Give it to people who have just finished fasting. In fact, to an extent that some Muslim people decided at the time to return what was given to them.
Because they found out that it was from a wrong person, or they took it.
As to whether they have paid the person today or they have not paid the person today, we don't know. The question I'm asking is that the administrator we're talking about, even till today, works in the vice president's office. You think that if there was nothing wrong with it, he's working in your office sharing rice which belonged to somebody, a rice that the demurrage had not yet caught it 2 days before demurrage. You have taken the rice forcefully. You are sharing it to people to eat it after Ramadan. And the person is still sitting in the office. And he said the vice president doesn't know anything about it.
Okay. KMJ.
Yeah. We will talk about the 40 containers in the northern region that the vice president's sister also took over.
KMJ, I want to admonish Adele, to be circumspect, because you see, Ramadan is a very sacred moment for Muslims, and Adele is a practicing Muslim. I'm surprised that Adele would want to raise issues like this on a national platform when there are no substantiated proofs. But let's put it in context.
Okay. Tell us what happened.
So there's a story on Ghana Web, and the source is from GNA, which is the Ghana News Agency. It was published on Wednesday, 15th February 2023. It's titled, Vice President's Office Supports Investigation into Unauthorized Letter to Clear 15 Containers of Rice. I don't know if Adele read that. Because of the sacred nature of Ramadan, it's important that we discuss the issues circumspectively. Because if we don't discuss the issues circumspectively, it would bring a lot more emotional attachment to it. We're working with systems, we're working in institutions. So the first paragraph says that the Office of the Vice President Tuesday expressed satisfaction with the Special Prosecutor's decision to continue investigations into the clearance of 15 containers of rice, which the office allegedly facilitated the clearance. James Kek-Osei allegedly sought assistance, from the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority to clear 15 containers of rice in April 2022.
Yeah, tell us about it.
James Kek-Osei, a civil servant who works at the Office of the Vice President as Director of Administration, is being investigated by the Special Prosecutor for addressing an authorized letter to the Commissioner General of the GRA on April 27, 2022, seeking assistance to clear this. Now, let me just go to the response of the Secretary to the Vice President, because this is key. And it's important that an issue that is under investigation at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I don't expect that Adele, a practicing Muslim, will bring such an emotional issue, a very sacred issue, on the national platform and accuse the Vice President as such. Now look, A statement issued on Tuesday by the Secretary to the Vice President, Augustine Blay, in response to the matter said it was only the Secretary to the Vice President who is mandated to write letters on the office's behalf, and that Kirk or say did not have any such authority. And the letter goes on and goes on and goes on. So really, I think that Adele, I would want Adele to retract some of the comments he's put out suggesting that the Vice President authorized this. There's proof that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, who is mandated by the President of the Republic of Ghana, has constitutional duty to investigate corruption and corruption-related activities. And this is one of such. And so really, for a sacred moment like Ramadan, where Muslims fast to seek Allah's direction and purification and blessing, and someone skewed to want to do this and it's under investigation at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I don't expect that on the 8th of November 2023, when Ghanaians are preparing for the hope that they have voted for, Adele would bring the Vice President into a matter that is under investigation, into a matter of a young person in his office who is not mandated to write a letter and now is under investigation at the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So really, I think that
Adele, so
briefly, you know, KMJ,
no, let him land and then you respond.
I would want you and your network to admonish Adele to retract these things, because you see, these are matters that are under investigation. Clearly, it's not got anything to do with the sitting Vice President and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party.
It's the reason I was asking that the Vice President could not directly be involved.
And I wish to state that any attempt, KMJ, any attempt whatsoever from Adele's NDC and John Dramani Mahamad's NDC against the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party and the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana would fail. Because really, when we look at the substance of the issue and we need to discuss it dispassionately and put it in appropriate context, the Vice President is vilified.
Okay. KMJ.
Adele.
First of all, let's do what, the average person knows. If, and I'm using this word carefully, if the Vice President is actually complicit, if, do you expect him to come out there and come and say, yes, I was the one that authorized for them to go and take the rice? I'm asking you.
But there could also be the possibility that
I said
he was not involved. What the statement that we're seeing right now.
I am not.
If someone in someone's office is doing something and the person is under investigation,
no problem.
It means that the Vice President.
No problem. I admit. I'm saying if the Vice President is complicit, do you expect him to come and sit on national television, wanting to be knowing who everybody thinks he is? On the face of this country, to come and sit on television and say, yes, I was the one that authorized for it, but I've even paid the guy back.
But from the office, where the investigations are coming from, the Vice President do not even have a chance to say that if he was involved, he was not going to be actually called on online.
KMJ, listen.
This is the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
I'm not disputing. I'm saying, I'm just using
because he put out a propaganda that will not fly.
Let me flow.
Ask him to apologize.
He should apologize. Don't mess the program up. I beg you.
He needs to apologize to Muslims.
Look, when he's speaking, I'm sitting here.
For a sacred opportunity like this.
When you're speaking, I'm sitting here.
I'm sorry.
I beg you.
Yeah, nice.
Now listen. Listen to this. Kirk is a Christian. Okay? Kirk is a Christian. I'm just using common sense here. It is common sense God has given to all of us. So whether you go to school or you don't go to school, you add 1 + 1, you watch your children, you say, Akola we misha, oye baby.
1 + 1 comes from school.
Please, I beg you.
His analogy is
1 + 1 comes from school.
Yes, where do you learn that from?
School. No, I'm saying officially. Our parents have taught us this before formal education. Don't even go there. We'll have that conversation.
Is that what you were talking about?
I'm saying I'm using common sense. First of all, Kirk is a Christian. Put that one down. 2, Kirk works in the office of the Vice President. 2. 3, Kirk is a subordinate in the office of the vice president. Certainly, he's not the vice president. 4, if Kirk didn't have the mandate to be able to write a letter and send it to GRA to be able to get authority to get that rice out of that place, why did GRA give him authority? That is 4. Because, I mean, per what you're saying, per what you read, the person that has authority is not Kirk. But now listen to what is funny.
So isn't it the reason there's investigations into it?
So we can't discuss.
No, I'm not saying so, but I'm saying that all that you mentioned isn't the reason why we have
so
investigations.
Are we not in this country where letters come from NDC and they say it's false?
I'm coming.
Letters come from NDC. Letters will come from NDC.
No problem.
And NDC will say it is false.
Oh, can I just flow?
Oh,
can I just flow? I beg you.
I am only
using no problem. Don't let it fly. Let the people decide. No, let the people decide. So Kirk, who is a Christian, who is in the vice president's office, decides to go and take and know this 15 containers of rice. It's no joke, 1. And then also note this, that when it is auctioned, you pay for it. It's not for free. So Kirk had that much money to buy 15 containers and then decided that he wants to share that 15 containers in the name of the vice president.
I think that.
Are you kidding me?
The office of the special prosecutor should invite Adele to aid in investigation. Yes, I mean you need.
No problem. I'm saying that. On what basis?
Because these analogies you are
doing.
No problem. It's not what you have indicated. It's not even used for investigation.
Oh, Paul, why are you doing this?
I need to do this because you are putting out misinformation.
No. It is not.
It's a clear misinformation.
So let the people decide.
No,
let the people decide.
I am here.
KMJ, I'm telling you something. I'm saying that.
You are misinforming the public.
No. You read something. Okay, let's come to what you read. You read something.
Of course, I read something. I read a report from CNN.
As your rebuttal, you read the document. Okay, the document you read says that Kirk didn't have the authority to do that. So at least we know that Kirk did it. We also know that Kirk wrote a letter. He's no vice president.
But the involvement of the vice president is what I do not want to
KMJ.
It's
the only person that has an authority to write a letter
the vice president,
is the secretary to the vice president.
No problem. Do you know why I am thinking?
Do you know why he's trying to put all these shenanigans?
You know why this whole thing looks murky? Because since 2022, Kirk is still in the office of the vice president. Why didn't they sack him? The man forges a document. Listen to this. You see, you people, you talk to us as though we are all idiots. The man forges a document in the office of the vice president, goes to GRA to get authority to clear 15 containers of rice.
Wouldn't that be done after the investigations? Because it's the only way we can find out that.
Okay. So Cecilia Dapa, okay, Cecilia Dapa, issues that came with renovation. Ejako, who resigned. Why? You can tell the person, put your job down. Do you remember what happened to Erica Makuchum and Gifty Clenham at I've forgotten the institution then. She was the head. Eric was the deputy. The president said, sit aside, let's do investigations. Let him sit aside. On what authority? We have confirmed now that there's a letter which is fraudulent. The letter was unacceptable. Coming from Kirk, who is in the vice president's office. The person who should sack him is the vice president. Tell him, bro, sit down on the side, right? Let them do the investigation. Let's come to a conclusion. But you see what is funny? I am asking a basic question. Why would Kirk take rice? Go and take rice and go and share to the Muslim community and tell them that it's coming from the vice president's office. That the vice president said we should give you this rice. Then you know you didn't ask him to go and take the 15 containers. You know you didn't send him. You know you didn't give him authorization to write the letter. You can't tell
are these the words of Kirk when he went to share the items?
Yes.
Because that is not stated anywhere in the document.
We are living in the communities, we know. KMJ, I'm in Lima, I'm in Mamobi. They brought it.
This is what the community told you.
Yes.
And it's not what Kirk said.
Yes. That the vice president's office said they should give the rice. So they shared the rice. Now we're hearing that whether they have paid him or they haven't paid him, but I'm just telling you something. You see, his lack of decisiveness, his lack of being able to decide. KMJ, look, I love you as a brother. KMJ, listen to me. I love you as a brother. I've known you before Joy Prime. There is no way under high heavens I will follow you to go to church, bow down my head and let your pastor pray for me. Do you know why? Because I don't believe you see, what I believe in as a Muslim is that Jesus Christ is not a literal son of God, and he's not God. That's what I believe. I don't believe I will get salvation from Jesus Christ. That's what I believe. So I won't go down and bow down for Jesus Christ to be poured on me. I don't believe that. I believe he's a prophet. That's what I believe. You don't believe Jesus Christ is a prophet, the way I believe, there is no way under high heavens you're going to follow me and go to the mosque and come and bow down and say, I want to pray to Allah because I believe in. You won't do that. You know why? But you love me. You have to. The man who cannot make a choice, a man who cannot be decisive with something as petty, something as serious as faith, as to where he belongs, is a problem. So part of the reasons why, part of the reasons why, part of the reasons why, part of the reasons why,
what Adele is doing this morning is not appropriate at all.
This conversation about the vice president's relations
is not appropriate at all.
It's not something that I want to entertain here.
No problem.
I don't know why Adele is doing what she's doing.
I'm coming. KMG,
you guys stop this.
That is not acceptable. So let's not get into religious.
Let me say something. Let me say something.
It is his own decision.
So I am not. Is he saying that when the chief imam went to the Roman Catholic Church, the chief imam has denounced him?
Can I say something?
Let's move away from his religion.
We are moving out. Listen.
Whatever he wants to do for himself.
No problem.
So let's not get into it.
We won't go there. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Wallahi, and I'm saying this on your platform, I would not in any day, anywhere sit down and talk about the vice president belongs here or vice president doesn't belong here. You know why we're having this conversation? Because he goes to the Muslims and say, I'm one of you, vote for me. And then goes here and says that I'm one of you, give it to me because I was Timothy. So I'm saying
it doesn't change anything.
I'm not disputing. I'm saying that it is his narrative. It is no problem. No problem.
So where he belongs,
I'm saying that,
or where he seeks
KMJ,
votes from,
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that. We're only making reference to his conversations. We're saying that, look, I'm a Muslim. I love it. Even if you put a knife on my neck, I love it. I know why I love it. You're a Christian. You love it. Like, you know what, you were born, you grew up, you know, you understand it, you know what you're doing, you know what you believe in. It's a matter of faith.
But okay, Paragraph, maybe you want to respond to it.
No, you see, I'm a practicing Christian. I've been a Christian missionary for 25 years of my life, traveled the length and breadth of this world to about 78 countries. I've studied Islamic theology. What Adele is doing this morning, I think, is not appropriate to the sacredness of the religion that he belongs to and I belong to. So I don't think that is relevant for me to rebut. I think that is important.
I do not even want us to go into that.
But,
really.
But
it came up last week and I stopped it.
Yes,
because
I think that I think that Joy Prime should ensure really that we have religious tolerance.
Yeah.
I mean, the chief imam, the respected sheikh,
has visited a lot of churches.
Has visited a lot of churches.
Yeah, so
and when you are involved in political leadership, you bring everybody together. It's called inclusivity. Inclusivity. You know, I'm a Christian apologist, and if anybody cares to know, a Christian apologist is one who speaks to defend the faith. You can sit on your national TV and preach to people. And so I don't want Adele to go that route at all. And I think that I would admonish Adele's NDC and John Dramani Mahamed's NDC to be mindful and circumspect with how they throw in cards of religiosity, because you see, in this country,
the vice president should stop going into it.
In this country,
the vice president should stop talking about it. I mean, if he talks about it, then he invites all of us.
In this country,
yes, that is his personal decision.
In this country,
he's a national asset too.
In this country,
let's not go there.
In this country,
but he's talking about it, and he's just saying
that he's addressing what you have said.
Tolerance in this country.
Why? So what I said, when I saw this religious tolerance, that's why I said I love you, Ken.
What Adele said is a strong statement of religious intolerance.
No, that's not true.
I'm telling you.
No.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
No,
on matters of faith.
No.
On matters of sacredity.
No.
On matters of purity.
No.
On matters of piety.
No.
I tell you, we need to handle these issues circumspectively. And it's important. And I want to send a strong admonition and prompt to Adele's NDC again,
and to the vice,
and to John Dramani Mahamed's NDC, that any attempt of wanting to pump in religious intolerance in this country will not be accepted. In this country, we have practiced religious tolerance. We have had leaders who have come to lead this country from their faith-based and value-based.
Yeah.
And no one has had a problem with it. No one has had a problem with it. So let's not build a model. Let's not bring in conversations that will not augur well for the path that we so desire to set for this country. In the constitution of this country, Ghana is a secular state.
We are not disputing that.
It's a secular state.
No one is disputing that.
With religious tolerance.
No one is disputing
we
that.
have the traditionalists in this country.
I agree.
We have the traditionalists who also have a place in governance.
Yes.
And we have the Muslims who also have a place in governance.
True.
And we have the Christians who also have a place in governance.
True.
We have the Hare Krishnas. No, in this country, we have Hare Krishnas who also have a faith in governance.
True.
And so let's all put all of these buffet of religious ideologies and religious standings into a way we can govern this country in the right way. I don't want us to start a narrative, because if we start a narrative, then we are going to have a difficult conversation, and people are going to bring the Quran, and people are going to bring the Bible.
That's not where we want to go. That's not a place we want to go. I would want all of us to respect that.
Oh, who told you
that's not a place that we want to go.
I don't want his NDC to be bringing up such issues.
On a normal day, I understand.
I want all of us to respect that.
Trust me. Look, let me say this.
Briefly, then we're done for today.
Briefly, listen. If I have said anything untoward, look, I was born in a house. I know how I grew up. I am very, very tolerant. My dad is the national imam for the Sunni Muslims, for God's sakes. I won't sit on national television and say anything I want to say. I am not in any way saying that, KMJ, because you are a Christian, you can't be my brother. You are my brother. I've known you before, Joy Prime. Paul, are you not my brother? This morning, didn't I send you a message?
Oh, you're my...
No, I'm coming.
Brother.
We're having a conversation. Exactly.
You're my brother.
So we're having
you.
I'm coming.
I love you so much.
Exactly.
You're my brother.
Exactly.
You understand?
So we're having a conversation.
I'm coming. Don't be bringing these issues of faith. Because you see, let me conclude by this. Christians are accepted. Christians are accepted.
If you believe in it and you have faith, they believe.
Christians are accepted into the Christian faith by public acclamation and baptism. Muslims have their way. Have you seen the vice president being baptized? So really, when you
I'm not saying he's a Christian.
No, you are saying that he's indecisive.
This one says, good morning again. Truth is of God, lies is of the devil. If this is what we have to go by, which anyone can decide then which of the two men is of God and the devil. The truth is you do what you say. The lies is you say what you don't do. A word to the wise is enough. And Stan P from Adenta sent in that one. Is that my last? Okay. Good morning. Please tell Paragraph that if you talk well does not mean you are truthful or wise. Be mindful that you are talking to Ghanaians who are living Ghana, feeling Ghana. I don't know why NPP always shows persons who they find it difficult to defend. I can't understand them. The current president, when he speaks, they have to struggle to defend. And what of your new choice? We are watching. A word to a wise is enough. Stan from Adenta sent that one as well. Good morning to everyone. The NPP is 7 years in power, has nothing to show apart from hardships and corruption. Dr. Bawumia is a big-time failure. He come no near to the presidency. NPP is it treats to Ghanaians development. Okay, I didn't cut that. Haruna sent in that one, by the way. It's very difficult to reason with these NPP guys. He said that the institutions are making money. My simple question to him is, what are they using the money for? Bawumia doesn't have what it takes to govern this country. NPP that I have campaigned and voted for has disappointed us. Mr. Host, trying to be fair when asking the questions, don't fall for NPP propaganda. I'm sorry I'm not. I've been very, very fair on this platform. Now, good morning. No room for NDC, no room for Mahama. We don't want to be doomed, so we don't want to be in doom, so again, Richard Mensah. So room for who then? Okay, the NPP you think? Okay. NPP did not borrow 60 billion, it's 30 billion multiplied by current exchange, which is 11 cities, which increases the debt, and so the NDC man is doing propaganda. Good morning. Please tell the NPP man to stop talking about free water and free electricity during COVID-19. We are paying for it and have even overpaid it, so he shouldn't even mention it. Richard from Jirapa, Upper West region. Very well. That'll be our conversation this morning here on the show. Let me say a big thank you to my brothers for coming through this morning.
You.
Now, Atelo Marsh, National Communications Team member of the NDC, Pagrib Wachidankwa, speaks for the government on governance and security. And this morning, he represented the NPP here in the studio. He's also the incoming for Achimba Buakwa North. And so those of you over there, your candidate is here doing the most for you guys. All right. So yeah, that's what it is. But gentlemen, thank you so much for making time for us this morning.
Thank you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you.
All right.